This week's piece is kind of a happy accident. I didn't really overplan it or overthink it. I was just in TK Maxx and saw these circular canvas boards and thought I'd love to try a circle piece. I decided to do another mountain piece, so as usual I started by sketching out the basic design and shapes. At the weekend, Bradley and I visited the Peak Village at Rowsley because it was their spring fair, but it got me to thinking that maybe I would like to try doing a market. I love going to makers markets and spring fairs and things like that and seeing all the different creations and creativity, and it's definitely something I've always been interested in. Even if it would be really daunting, I think it would be so cool to have my own stall, so it's something I'm thinking about. For this piece I'm using filler mixed with a very little bit of water, not very much, just enough to smooth it out, and actually at the start here I found it was a little bit too dry, so I did add just a couple more drops of water, but that really is all it needs, is just a couple of drops. Hello, if you're new here, I'm Grace. I'm a textured artist based in Derbyshire in the UK. I started just a couple of months ago, having not picked up a paintbrush in nearly a decade, and I'm really enjoying experimenting and learning something new. As I promised, I have been working on my website and my online shop, and I'm so close to opening it. I'm going to launch it first to you, my YouTube subscribers. If you're not subscribed and you would like to know when it opens, please do hit the subscribe button. I'm super nervous about it. I unsurprisingly feel quite a lot of imposter syndrome, but in the end it's just something I feel like I need to try and just see what happens. There are a lot of unknowns and things I do need to figure out, but as I've said from the start, the hardest thing to get is going, so I'm just here getting going. It would be unbelievable to me if there was someone out there who wanted to have a piece of my art to hang on their wall, and I guess we'll find out if there is anybody that wants to do that other than my parents. So much of this has been pushing me out of my comfort zone in ways that I didn't necessarily expect. And I think it's easy to see somebody online and think, oh, they've just got it sorted. But the reality is that I think most people are just figuring it out, and nobody is an expert until they've learned something. So I guess this is my invitation and dare to you to go out and try the thing that you've been putting off but want to give a go. You never know what's going to happen. I really enjoyed doing this texturing. There's something about this paste that's really enjoyable to work with. It's malleable enough that you can work it into the shapes you want, but it's also not too loose. It doesn't just slop everywhere. You can really work it into the shapes you want it to be. It's also not messy. You can just do the paste, and then if little bits get on your hands, it just comes off straight away. The other paste that I've been using, Joint Compound, that's super messy and I find it hard to work with. I ended up letting this piece dry for a few days. At first the texture paste made the canvas board bow slightly, but once I left it for a while it did flatten out again. I don't think I'll use canvas boards again, I'll just stick to canvases, but it was something I wanted to try, and I'm glad I did, because that's how you learn. You'll notice that I've painted the whole piece white off camera just to have that base layer, and then it's time to paint it. While I'm painting, I've actually pulled up a photo on my phone that I just found on Google of a mountain scene. just because I wanted to try and understand what colours would need to go where and how to create something that feels at least a little bit realistic, not just out of my head. And if I did it out of my head, it'd just be green grass, blue sky, grey mountains, but that feels a bit simplistic, and I wanted to try and do something that had a bit more dimension and depth to it. But I found that when I am doing the painting, it is good to just get those base colours on, so the blue, grey and green, just so that I can see it start coming together, and then you can work layers on top of that. This week I hit 500 subscribers on YouTube. I am so grateful for you for being here. It means the world to me. And I was thinking, as a little celebration, I might do a Q&A video. So if you have any questions for me, please put them in the comments. Otherwise, I would just have to ask myself some questions, and that feels a bit awkward. So if you have a question for me, put it in the comments and I'll answer any that I can. I also hit 3,000 followers on Instagram this week. It has been exploding in a way that I could never have imagined, and it's really exciting to see. The best thing for me has been building a little community. I've seen so many people talk about that, and I always think, but how does that really work? And it turns out that you just put yourself out there and then people come along, and it's fun to be a part of. I noticed on my reference image that even though I was looking at a summery mountain scene, there was of course still snow on top of the mountain, so I wanted to add some of that. But I also noticed that because it is the summer, it's not just sheets of snow, you can see the rock poking through. So I really wanted to try and emulate that with what I was doing here. I'm still very much trying to figure out the style to paint these mountain pieces in. I've tried all different sorts of styles, and some I feel like work better than others. I think this is one of those pieces that is better from a distance, and when you walk in the room and it's on the side, it really catches your eye. I love how the colours come together, and it turned out better than I was expecting. This is the final result. You'll see that I've added little bits of gold and pink just to add a little bit more highlight, but I really love the depth of colour in this. The deep colours go quite dark, and then there's the bright colours on the top as well, and I love that faded green. It's such a nice result. I'm really happy with it. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe if you want to see more. I managed to buy a couple of larger canvases from TK Maxx, so that's going to be coming up next. I'm a bit nervous about working on a slightly larger scale, so we'll see how that goes. Thank you for being here. I hope you have a lovely week, and I'll see you for my next piece. Bye.